Hey guys, it's Tricky Nick here. Today, we're going to be picking the best and worst costumes for every Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter. This was originally a ranking of every costume, but I had to scrap that because it was way too long. As always, this video is my opinion, so if you guys like a costume that I don't, it's okay. Also, I've decided to split the video into two parts, so stay tuned for part 2 coming soon. If you guys enjoy this ultimate video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to talk to me and other fans about this list, consider joining my Discord server with the link in the description. Anyways, let's begin. Starting out with Mario, his worst costume is easily his black one because it's so bland. Then I decided that his best one was either between the builder suit or the wedding suit. I ended up deciding that Mario's wedding suit was the best because I just love the reference to Super Mario Odyssey. The next fighter we have is Donkey Kong. The worst one is probably the pink one. Not that it's bad or anything, it's just the worst one there is. For his best, I chose the black because it looks like a real gorilla, which is really cool. Up next is Link. The costume I found the worst is his indigo costume. His shield just does not look as good as any of the other shields with this costume. For his best costume, it was hard to pick between Dark Link and Fierce Deity Link. I eventually picked Fierce Deity Link, but Dark Link was a very close second. I chose Fierce Deity Link over Dark Link because the costume changes much more about Link, and he looks super menacing. Samus's worst costume was an easy choice, as the blue variant of Samus has too many colors that clash with each other. There's pink, green, blue, and yellow all on this suit, and it really doesn't mix well. Samus's best is the white costume. There's not really a huge reason for this, I just like the design. Then we have Dark Samus, and his worst suit is pink. Since Dark Samus is supposed to be dark and menacing, I just don't really like the brighter color. It was very difficult to make a choice between the gray and the black, as they are both very menacing. In the end, I chose Dark Gray Samus as the best because the red and the gray are a great pair and it makes Dark Samus look so evil. When looking at Yoshi's costumes, picking between the worst was difficult, as not much changes about Yoshi in each costume. I picked the pink Yoshi as the worst, not because it's bad, just because it bothered me a little that the whole shoe is yellow. The best Yoshi skin was an easy choice, as the crafted Yoshi is the only one that actually changes Yoshi significantly. I really like most of Kirby's costumes, but why? Just why does the green Kirby have yellow feet? Every other Kirby has feet with similar colors to its body, so why is green Kirby like this? Anyways, the best Kirby is probably his dark purple costume. The fully yellow eyes make Kirby look even cuter than he already is. Hi buddy. Up next is Fox. This is completely irrelevant to the video, but if you spam the select character on Fox, it'll get you demonetized. Anyways, Fox's worst costume is probably his pinkish red costume. It's not bad, it's just my least favorite of his costumes. The best costume Fox has is actually his default look. I considered picking his orange outfit as his best, but I like his default color scheme the most. Pikachu's worst costume is his default one easily. Not that his original is bad or anything, but all of his other outfits feature him dressed up in something. Pikachu's best costume was also an easy decision, as his Libre suit is the biggest change out of all of his costumes. It's iconic, and it looks great. Luigi's yellow costume looks pretty bad. It has a vomit color to it, and it's Luigi's worst costume by far. Luigi's best costume is his purple outfit, because it's the closest thing to Waluigi in Smash. Ness's worst costume is easily his white one, just because it's really plain compared to others. His best was a hard choice, because on one hand his black and yellow costume makes him look like a cute little bumblebee, but his cyan Master Belch shirt is also really well designed. I ended up picking the black and yellow because he's an adorable bumblebee. Sorry Master Belch. Up next is Captain Falcon, and the decisions for this one were really easy. His red outfit is the worst. The reference to the Blood Falcon is kinda cool, but I don't really like the colors. His best is the gold because, well, he's gold. Then we have Jigglypuff. All of her costumes are just hats with a slight color change, so it's hard to pick her best and worst. I think Jigglypuff's worst costume is her original, because all her other costumes have hats that I like. I'd say Jigglypuff's best costume is her flower. I just think it fits the best with Jigglypuff. Princess Peach's worst costume is surprisingly her wedding one. I know I ranked Mario's wedding one as the best, but Princess Peach's wedding costume is completely inaccurate to how it looked in Super Mario Odyssey, and it's the blandest of all of her costumes. Her best is her red outfit, because the gold on the dress makes it look really good. Up next, we have Peach's sister Daisy. Daisy's worst costume is once again the white one, for the same reason as Peach's. However, Daisy's best is her blue costume. I originally was going to pick the black, but I don't like the black and green combo. Coming up is another Mario character, Bowser. Bowser's worst one is probably the one where he has pink hair, because it's so similar to his original. Bowser's best was a tough choice though, as he has a lot of cool references in his costumes. I decided on Blue Bowser though, because he looks cool and the reference to Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is really cool. Then we have the Ice Climbers, and their worst outfit was actually somewhat of a tough choice. On one hand, their green and yellow really doesn't match their winter theme, but the brown and gray costume is just a little bland. I chose the green and yellow as their worst though, because it feels really out of place. The best one was the white, because they keep their original colors with their gloves, but they get new white jackets. Looking snazzy, Ice Climbers. Sheik was yet again another hard choice, as the skins remain very similar. Since Sheik is all about stealth, cause it's secretly Zelda, the yellow costume contradicts that, so it's the worst one. The best Sheik costume is the black one, because it's the stealthiest. Zelda's worst costume is her violet costume. It's not that it's bad, but it's a near clone of her default costume. Zelda's best is her black costume. It's similar to Dark Link, which is another really good costume. In fact, I almost ranked the Dark Link costume as Link's best. While Dr. Mario doesn't have many changes to his costumes, the decision was easy for me. His worst costume is the purple, simply because it's my least favorite look on Dr. Mario. His best one is easily the black, because Dr. Mario looks like a hitman or something. It's really cool. Honestly, he's a little intimidating. Pichu is so adorable, but his spiky outfit is probably the worst because it's his default costume with asymmetry. And you know kids, on this channel we hate asymmetry. Pichu's best costume is the Team Aqua hat, because the ruby and sapphire reference is nice, and I've always liked the Team Aqua logo. Up next on the list is Falco. The worst costume is probably his white/light blue. It's not bad or anything, it just doesn't look as good as the normal color scheme. On the other end of the spectrum though, the black costume for Falcon looks even better than the normal color scheme, and he also looks like a raven when he is in this costume. Marth's blue outfit is so similar to the default look that I can't even tell the difference. Since it's so unoriginal, it gets the worst costume here. Marth's black costume looks the best easily. The colors are very nice and the reference to Camus is nice, since he isn't in the game. Lucina is yet another Fire Emblem character that has two similar costumes. While her navy look copied the default, I think the default is slightly worse than the navy, so her default costume actually gets the worst spot here. As for her best, the white with pinkish hair is a really nice look, and it's a significant change to her original look. Young Link has a lot of blue costumes, but the worst is probably the light blue costume, because it's really similar to other blues, but looks really bad. Young Link's best costume is the Dark Link costume. Since it was a close second on Link, it takes the cake here because Young Link doesn't have a fierce deity costume. Next up is another Zelda character in the form of Ganondorf. His worst costume was a tough choice, as the green and purple costumes don't look great, and they don't have any references. I eventually decided that the green was the worst of the two, since it blends in with Ganondorf's skin. Ganondorf's default costume is the best though, because Ocarina of Time is an amazing game, and his default costume references it. Then we have Mewtwo, and his costumes are all very similar, so the picks are mainly color preference here. The worst costume for Mewtwo is the brown. It just looks so ugly. And the tail kind of looks like... Anyways, the best is blue, simply because I like the color blue a lot. Roy's cyan outfit doesn't really look that great, and since it's pretty similar to his normal costume, it gets the worst spot. Roy's best spot was either between the yellow or the green. In the end, I picked the green though, because the yellow didn't really have a reference. Chrom is the next fighter on the list, and once again the cyan costume is very similar to the default appearance, so it's his worst costume. Chrom's red is his best costume, because the dark red looks really nice paired with the black cape. Then we have Mr. Gaiman Watch. And his yellow costume looks like congealed urine, so it's easily his worst. Then the best Mr. Gaiman Watch costume is probably his black costume. It's just so classic and it looks really sleek. Next up is Meta Knight, and his worst costume is the pink one, because while the design could have been really cool, the colors didn't blend well together. The best costume was a tough decision between his purple and dark outfit, but I chose dark Meta Knight because I like the little slit on the side better than in the middle. Coming up now is Pit. Pit's worst costume is the pink, because the blue wings don't really match with the rest of him. Pit's best is easily his white costume though. Paired with the blonde hair, the white costume makes him look a lot like an angel. He just looks so majestic with this costume on. Pit is already a character in Smash, so it really boggles my mind as to why Dark Pit has a Pit costume. Just play as Pit instead. As for his best costume, the brown and red looks really good, and it really fits the dark theme of Dark Pit. Next up is Zero Suit Samus, and I think her default costume is the worst. I just don't really like the color choice here. Her best costume is easily her orange shorts because, woo! Am I right, guys? Okay, in all seriousness, her best costume is the blue, because the color choice for this is so much better than her default look. Wario's WarioWare costumes are a cool reference and all, but they're the worst of his outfits. If I had to pick one of the WarioWare costumes to be the worst, his yellow WarioWare one is probably the worst looking of the WarioWare costumes. His best was an easy decision, because you can't beat that original Wario look, and I don't know why this isn't his default, because that would make much more sense. Snake's worst costume is the brown, but it's really hard to see, so it can give you a competitive advantage if you want that. Snake's best costume is probably his default though, because the rest of the costumes are camo, and I don't really like how they look on Snake. Ike's costumes are very similar to each other, so his picks are going to be ranked by my color preference. His worst is his purple, and his best is his black. Pokemon Trainer was a tough one to decide, as Pokemon Trainer has 4 characters in one. For the worst one, I chose the green, because the trainers from Gold and Silver aren't the greatest. My favorite is Red, because Fire Red and Leaf Green are great games, and you can't beat Red Charizard. And that concludes the first half of Fighters, and subsequently part 1 of this Best and Worst Costumes mini-series. Let me know what you guys think of my picks for every fighter. If you guys want to see part 2, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.